set your phone to vibrate, disconnect your doorbell, and put down that book that you've been reading for 400 pages and is just getting raunchy, because today, for the first time in 6 months, we return to Planet Epicosity. That's right, it's Supreme Commander Epic, guys. It's been far too long since we brought one of these to you, for no other good reason than I just haven't really stumbled across an exciting replay that's tickled me in that special place. As you know, I like to be tickled. And of course, nailing two birds with one stone, whatever their visual appearance and whatever their bedroom proclivities, Setons players are, in at least the very loosest sense of the word, they're people too, in a manner of speaking. And so as such, we must not discriminate, and we must cater for them here at Guildcast. So we shall be returning to Planet Setons, or at least area Setons on the planet, whatever. And it's going to be custom 4v4, not tip-top pro, but certainly pro throughout. And it'll be a whole bunch of people, at least a certain bunch of people you won't have seen featured very often on Guildcast. You might actually recognise them, and they might well be people that we know very well, except they like to change their names and mess with me. Certainly half of them you'll recognise, but in the other half you might not. Anyway, that's enough from me. I'm ready, you guys are ready, and the players are sure as hell ready. So let's get on over to the game zone and see how these guys are going to get on. Chang, ka-chang, chang, chang. What on earth? There it is. That was weird. That took a long time to pop up in my little window there. Anyway, as with usual, this is team... As with usual? That's a good start. This is team 1 up here at the top. This is team 2 down here at the bottom. Going first for team 1 up here at the very top, rearguard air position. It's Strogo, and he's going Aeon, how very sensible, in mellow yellow, opening first air. Team member number 2 for team 1, it's UD. No unfamiliar faces so far. We've seen both of these guys for another Aeon in Regal Purple this time, going first land, second air, moving towards the center. This is a new one for me. This time going Seraphim in Elephantine Grey. It's Utagbar, and Utagbar has opened first land. He's built that first land, not even sticking around to get that first P-gen up, just going straight to the middle to snag the mass. And last but not least, he's going Cyber and bless him in Baby Blue. It's is it Suzuki or Suzuki? This reminds me of an issue I had when I was younger. It's like it's the car, right? It's like Suzuki or Suzuki. I always used to think it was just Suzuki, but then I went on holiday as a kid to South Africa or America, and I saw an advert, and it was like Suzuki, Suzuki, take me home, Suzuki. And I was like, it's Suzuki. What are you doing to me? You're upsetting my entire worldview. Has just been turned on its head. And I just thought, well, that's the retarded way to say it. So I thought, well, maybe I'm retarded. And that's the first time I realized that that was a possibility, or indeed just people from around the world say things differently. But however it is, it's Suzuki. That's a nice little interlude there for you guys about my history of advertising in different countries. And he's going Cybrin, opening first land. So that's team 1. Let's take a look at team 2. Rearguard air position, first of all. It's another Cybrin, curious decision for a rearguard air player. And he's going Cyanide Scion, opening first land, going second air. Team member number 2 over here, formerly Crispy Ambulance, we would imagine, but now he's Grisby Ambulance. I'm just kind of tempted to still call him Crispy Ambulance, and I probably will. And he's going Vivacious Violet, also going Cyber and bless him, opening first land, going second air. And up front, it's now, I've got to say, named after surely one of the more, I don't really listen to metal music, but if I was going to listen to metal music, Steel Panther would be my band. Why? Because they don't take themselves too seriously, unlike pretty much everybody else in the music industry. Anyway, he's going Aeon, interesting choice up front, and he's already at the middle. We're going to have to speed things up as these two nearly reach each other. And he's gone Spetsnaz Green, open first land. And last but not least, is the highest ranking player of our game today at the beach. It's Foley in Ferrari Red. Open first air, went second air as well in Seraphim. And he will bring the completion to our introduction there at 3 minutes. The first few shots are being fired in the center. Game quality, we should say, is 93.38%. That's what we consider to be a balanced game here at Guildcast. Very exciting stuff. UTAG Bar doing his best to scoop mass under pressure from both Steel Panther's ACU and 3 Auroras, which he's brought in as reinforcements. Anything coming in from his side? No, not by the looks of things. So it could be losing the early exchange and might have to dip into the water first, as long as Steel Panther organizes this scoop operation and attack or assault operation on the ACU well. UTAG Bar goes down into the yellow there. 8,200 hit points remaining on him, and we should just zoom out quickly and summarize. So what have we got? We've got an Aeon player there, and another Aeon Seraphim at the front, and then Cybrin last of all for Suzuji. And so 2 Aeon Seraphim Cybrin compared to 2 Seraphim, is it? No, Aeon Seraphim and 2 Cybrin there for... So we have no UEF in today's game. How very sad. But yeah, no UEF and a reasonable mix of races otherwise across the... So we should be seeing pretty much a broad spectrum of all of the tools that are available. Cheeky little drop coming across the water there from Crispy Ambulance. Loads a couple of labs in to enemy territory. Looks like they might be making a play on UTAG Bar's base. Not sticking around to kill the mechs. Looks like they're going straight after the soft, jangly power centers of his base. We've got a vulnerable Hydro there and a whole bunch of T1s as well. NG's priority target in case they manage to get a PD out, but a little bit of decent aerial work from Suzuki takes care of those labs before they cause any real damage. The interceptors just a little bit late there for Crispy Ambulance showing up to run protective detail for those labs, but still nice little bit of early harassment there from him. Both he and UD have been quick. They've wasted no time at grabbing the side islands. Both those islands going to the respective teams you would expect them to fall into, so no surprises there. Back to the center. UTAG Bar still in the mix actually, so he hasn't yielded, and unfortunately it's a shame. I had to switch out Supreme Scoreboard. Now when I watched this through at high speed, I will say that I didn't notice too much of the slowdown, but I just couldn't risk it when I loaded in OBS as well on top of it. I thought it would be too much load for my computer for an epic, so I decided against it. And I know, audible groan from you guys, I kind of feel the same. It would have been nice to have that extra information there, but we'll just have to do without it for the time being. While we're talking about scoreboards, let's take a quick moment to glance up there and see who's performing best inside the early stages. 6 minutes gone so far. 57 mass there for UD, 53 mass for Crispy Ambulance. The 2 Cliff Edge players scoring the best, as you would expect them to do, having the most mass available to them with that side island. So no real big surprises there. Steel Panther on 38, Foley on 37. Interesting take on it there. So he's further behind than I would expect him to be, but he has just jumped ahead of UTAG Bar there in score. He's up to 41 now. UTAG Bar's on 35 to 38. So yeah, the 2 guys up front basically short stacking. That's exactly where you would expect them to be in a Setons game. UTAG Bar has dropped back slightly. He's getting an upgrade on his commander, and he is actually the one that has T1 reinforcements in the area now. Steel Panther looking a little bit all by his lonesome. No more reinforcements coming in for him. What's actually going on further back? Which he does have some band of Auroras heading up to him now, and a land factory that was never completed. Alas, little Dave didn't finish his mission, probably got bombed by something, and in fact it looks like they lost a mech that was already completed as well. So commiserations there to the awesome rock band that is Steel Panther. Nice little Medusa drop to the top from Crispy Ambulance, which is doing good work now for Team 2 on the harassment front. Unfortunately, didn't pack any Mantis into the mix. It was just a artillery affair, so quick build order of hunters from Suzuki's outpost up here should take care of the Medusas. They have managed to pick off at least, in fact, all 3 of the mexes went down, so that is definitely worth it. That was a nice little drop there. Didn't manage to complete the conquest and take out the land factory, but nonetheless, nice bit of work all the same. Decent numbers of air units now on the field for both teams. Everyone dipping their toe into the early air game to help defend against early air attack. It's actually Steel Panther that's had the worst of the exchange, or the recent exchanges, and has dipped his ACU into the water there. 3,500 hit points on the comm, and that leaves his reinforcing Auroras all by their lonesome to face an oncoming ACU. If there's a silver lining there, UTAG Bar is in the yellow himself. 7,700 hit points there. Early bit of pressure, and that UTAG Bar pressure is going to be followed up with a small group of THAMs behind it. That UTAG Bar comm has the gun upgrade there, range and speed, throw in a couple of overcharges for good measure, even if that overcharge will fly past, hang a U-turn, handbrake turn, come round and kill just one unit. Look at it, it's all over the shop. Crazy overcharge work being done here. Steel Panther trying to get a T1 PD online. I don't think he's going to manage it if UTAG Bar keeps moving forward. He stops to pick up some reclaim. That could be an unfortunate decision just a little bit further, and he could have really brushed aside this little outpost. He does manage it, kills the engineer when the point defense was at 1,265 hit points out of 1,300. T1 bomber out over the top, takes care of just one THAM there from Crispy Ambulance. And UTAG Bar will complete the conquest. Down goes the land factory. You bring up the mass. Very nice early aggression here. Nothing else going on elsewhere. Terrified I'm going to miss some crucial drop or something from Crispy Ambulance. UTAG Bar, ranking veterancy, jumps him back up to 8,700 odd HP. A little bit more breathing room there. Steel Panther emerges from the water only to submerge once again. Tried to fire a couple of shots off. They got blocked by the cliff edge there. Steel Panther getting the gun upgrade on his commander, while UTAG Bar seems to be withdrawing in the background there. Thank you for the bombers, he says to his allies. Certainly helped out a little bit. UD getting involved, trying to shoot those down with a couple of interceptors, picks off one of them. Nice solid work from Crispy Ambulance, who's been really flying the flag for Team 2 in the early game with the couple of drops he's done in the center and up at the cliffs, and now offering good aerial protection to their front man here. UTAG Bar 1,600, Steel Panther at 1,500, so these two pretty evenly matched in terms of global ranking. Bomb away from Foley, picks off a couple of Zuis before that gets shot down by this nicely placed T1 anti-air. Lots of PD going up there. It's a necessary line of point defense. It's like, you will not pass this small causeway, or at least this small section of it. Very defensive of this particular patch of soil. ASF's on the field now there for Strogo, who is leading the game in terms of score. UD in second. Where are we at with empty spots? So Team 2's air player down on 33k compared to 37. I know score isn't really very representative. He's actually ahead of Strogo though on mass income. UD in top position at 146. Crispy Ambulance next. Again, as we said before, there's two cliff faces offering the best starting resources. Crispy Ambulance, who's been getting a bit more involved in the early harassment and protective detail there of Steel Panther, lagging behind UD just a little bit, who's been obviously focusing that much more on eco. Naval yards going up around that side island and indeed at the main base. How's things looking at the naval development over here? We've got one Cybran naval yard queued up there, and we've got another bunch up over here. 2 online, a third one on the way. 3 Cyber factories online for Suzuki, or Suzuki. I'll try not to do that all the way through the cast. I find it difficult, as you can tell. Foley, just the 2 Seraphim naval yards online for him. Does have a couple of T1 units, including a sub over here. Could be getting involved with some harassment. These frigates won't be able to fire back. Won't take long for UD to spit out a sub of his own. Oh no, in fact we do have some T1 torpedo launchers online, which is why that was partially damaged already. And in fact, that sub unable to score a single kill. Down he goes. And nice little representation of UTAG bar there in the naval game in the bottom pond. That's a lovely little bond. Takes care of 5 engineers stationed around it. Lots of build capacity there. That UTAG bar couldn't really afford to lose. Will he get a second bomb off? That is the question. No, he won't. In come ASFs from Strogo and take care of that matter with absolutely 0 effort. Steel Panther advancing with both the gun upgrades now on that comm. Sniper comm online for our Aeon ACU. Walking into the range of that T2 point defense, though, might prompt him to desist. He doesn't like the look of that. Trying to pick off a few units at range whilst in full withdrawal mode. UTAG bar advancing with his commander as well. Look at that range. Steel Panther, though, has to be careful. Below 50% of his HP now on 4,600. Doesn't want to overextend. Let's take a quick look at ASF numbers now. Oh, we're in a lull. So we've got 18 there for Team 1 on Strogo's forces. Empty spot at 17. Empty spot, presumably either referring to empty or vacant places on the game zone. Or indeed it could be a squeezed zit. He is playing Cyberin after all. Probably more appropriate. Torpedo bombers for Strogo, now moving into the area. Not a great deal of work ready for them. That was just dispatched to take care of a single sub, I'm guessing. You can see it sinking to the bottom there from Foley, trying to harass UTAG bar's single naval position. PGens being pinged. UD having recently control K'd all of his T1 power. You can see the remains there, and they've all been hoovered up. So UD concentrating on being as efficient as possible. And if you take a look at the eco, you can see that represented in just in the sheer quantity of mass he's pulling in now. UD at 221, well, jumping between 217 and 221. And Crispy Ambulance, next highest, over at the cliffs on the other side, is at 181. So considerably different pictures there. UD really leading the charge on eco. That could be crucial later on. T2 engineer being charioted around the field by UD. Steel Panther starting to build up a position at the front. Really could do with getting that T2 engineering suite on board that commander and start developing the central causeway if he wants to hold it. We're now getting mobile missile launchers and large numbers of Ilshivers building up on the causeway for UTAG bar. Only a matter of time, you would imagine, if Steel Panther doesn't get some proper T2 steel online. But he'll be dislodged, and that won't help his position at all. The emergence of a cruiser there from UTAG bar. No defense currently online against those cruise missiles. and doesn't possess the ability to get any defense online either. No tech up front whatsoever, and he's just about to complete a T2 mechs up front, so that will be an annoyance. He could do with some aerial support from his teammates. Trouble is, getting to that stage in the game now where those two ponds, those theatres, are going to start building up. Foley and Crispy Ambulance's attention is going to be focused elsewhere. Causeway will just have to wait. I think we're going to see surely Steel Panther. Oh no, he's managed to sneak a couple of T2 engineers up front. So TMD on the way, 3/4 complete. Should be able to hold on to that mass extractor. Might want to get a couple more of them online though. 4 mobile missile launchers up front, and a second cruiser joins the mix as well. This position is going to get harder and harder to defend, and Steel Panther is going to have to throw more and more resources into tactical missile defense and at some point shielding, I would imagine. Let's have a look at what Team 1 can see. Well, we've got full vision on the area now. You'd imagine those engineers, those TMDs would be priority target 1. In come the Auroras to try and force those mobile missile launchers to back up. Ilshiva's waiting just behind them to re-engage the floaty, naughty, and that they will do, and make a horrible mess of those tinfoil tanks. They will do. Oh, mass Aurora casualties. Retreat! Retreat! Nasty exchange there for Steel Panther. Looking more and more like Foil Panther. But that will help things considerably. 5 submerged destroyers coming up the coastline there from Foley and shooing those cruisers away. Could just stick one of them above the water over here and make a mess of Utag Bar's position, but obviously will be concerned about counterattack from UD. UD, of course, storming away from things with his ecos at 384. Wow, has literally jumped 100 mass since we last visited it. Crispy Ambulance's mirror on 333. That's a huge difference. But has yet to translate that massive eco into massive unit production. Does have a couple of subs online. And of course, playing Aeon, not the strongest T2 Navy in the world. Those Exodus destroyers, easy to micro away from in a destroyer fight. But now we see some T3 up front there for Steel Panther. A couple of harbs lying in wait. Lots and lots of defensive emplacements going up now. And finally a shield generator, though it's quite far back. It's not going to protect everything out here. Utag Bar has the cruisers behind and a couple of destroyers up front. But only a couple of destroyers. Not enough to hold Foley and Steel Panther at bay. Steel Panther has also got a decent number of naval facilities online. And look at the difference now between Steel Panther and Utag Bar. Utag Bar's on 113 mass. That's not power issue related. He's got sufficient power. That's actual mass count. Steel Panther, by contrast, on 189. So definitely outperforming his mirror on the causeway. And that will allow him to funnel extra resources into the bottom pond and assist Foley. UD just continuing to run with his eco building. 492, spiking upwards to 507. That might be reclaim related. Yes, it is. 492 versus 414 for Crispy Ambulance. Just the pace is unreal. He's got to be careful, though, with his eco versus unit balance, as we've spoken about before. He cannot allow Foley to get to critical mass of unit count in the bottom pond. Otherwise, all the mass in the world just won't help him. He'll be overrun. But he'll know better than I would about when that time comes. He's a 1900 player. Second highest rated player in this game after Foley at 2100. So I'm sure he's got it under control, but that's just the little finite things about SOPCOM, that little decision making, knowing when to switch your spending in these larger games, when to invest, when to expand. Nice little exchange there for Crispy Ambulance. Takes down 3 of Suzuji's subs. Suzuji's. I said I wasn't going to do it. I'm trying. One Salem and a Mermaid being harassed by a couple of bombers up there. Let's do a quick ASF count, see who's performing better out of the air players there for Team 1 and Team 2. Strogo at 106 ASFs. Empty slot at 73. Strogo vastly outperforming his kill Suzuki. Interesting. Well, that's why, if you take a look in the bottom left-hand corner, you can see the upgrades on Empty Spot's commander there. Microwave and teleport, saying who should he kill, and he's saying, let's kill Suzuki. So, where's Suzuki's comm? He's up here, he's undefended, and there's the portal opening up. Boom! Baby! No chance of evading that, and the first eviction from the game will be Suzuki, or Suzuki, I don't have to say that anymore because he's out. Fantastic. And down he goes. Empty Spot might not be keeping up in terms of eco and ASF numbers, but he's scored the first kill for Team 2. He's teleporting out. Where is he teleporting to? Well, can't see him popping up anywhere else as yet. Has he gone home? Where is he? There is your commander. You are. He went up to the top. He's still on the assault. You can see the handy tag there from his teammates, from, I'm guessing, Foley, telling him where to go. And he's back home in the lake now, so very, very nice bit of covert ops. Very Cybran-y, but nonetheless effective. Takes out Suzuki, or Suzuki, and then hits the cliffs to take out some of the resourcing options that were formerly him. So, of course, it being a Setons game, full share is on, which, of course, means somewhere a fairy has passed away from flatulence-induced asphyxiation, or asphyxiation as it would be in this week. Right there. Brilliant. And he's back on it again, this time at the causeway, going straight after UTAG Bar's main base, picking off vulnerable resourcing options. We've got T1 bombers coming in there for Strogo, but he's already gating out. Where's he going next is the question. We've got an attack ping down here at UTAG Bar's comm, and that comm is vulnerable as well. No point defense around him. He went back to the pond. He could just keep doing this all day. See the steam rising off the commander there as he cools down. That microwave laser has been busy. shell of that Cybercom exposed to lots of radiation after eviscerating his opponents. I'm just waiting for it. This is prime target right here, completely vulnerable. He doesn't actually need to go for the kill right now. These boats from Foley look like they have everything under control. And here we go. No, he cancelled it. No, he's going somewhere. That's the thing. We take a look at UD. Well, he doesn't waste time. Look at all those T1 and T2 PDs around the commander. What about Strogo? Yeah, he's well protected as well. Tons of point defense. He's even got a personal shield up there. This really is where Team 1 are vulnerable right now and could lose another one, assuming he's bold enough to go for it. Yes, he is. There's the portal. Oh, we'll see you on the flip side, my good friend. UTAG bar with no... sees that, goes, whoop, nope. No, 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 no. I don't want to go that way. How long is it going to take him to gate in? There he is. He turns to fire that massive chest-mounted cannon on that Cybran commander, who has no chance of escaping. There's a lot of fire coming in from those Ilshivers, but it doesn't matter. The comm explosion from UTAG bar takes care of them. He needs to be a little bit careful. Empty spots down to around 60% of his health. Any bombers coming in from Strogo? No, I'm sure he'll be gating back. Yes, he is. But look at that. So that's 2 comms down. 2 successful covert ops assaults on both the eco of what was Suzuji's base and UTAG bar's base. And of course, UD, who was already in possession of a pretty sensational economy, now has the leftovers of UTAG bar and of Suzuji's base to add to his ranks, and that's pulling him in a whopping 774 mass per tick. Empty spot withdraws, now sitting in the pond. Happy as Larry. He actually looks like he's going somewhere else once again. When will this end? Probably as soon as he oversteps his bounds and gets himself killed. Can't see where he's gone to now. Well, he's gone to the side island of UD. He's taken out those 2 Tech 3 mass extractors, eating a little bit of fire from the destroyer, and gates out again, so he's not sticking around. Doesn't want to get himself unnecessarily popped here. Trying to keep his ASFs from getting entangled in the superior force of Strogo as well, so he's not just investing himself in commander play, he's also trying to remain game aware of everything else that's going on elsewhere. Lots of Barracudas in now for Crispy Ambulance, taking out the rest of these Cybran factories, naval yards, and secure that top pond for Team 2. Foley had been looking pretty good in naval power, but UD just spitting out vessels now. Look at the number of T3 factories he's got up here, and he's got the eco to sustain this. Yes, it's dropped down a little bit. It's down to around 700 mass now, and of course as soon as it jumps up to 721, but still a loss of about 50 mass or 50-60 mass or so there, but that's still way ahead of everybody else, and it's going to be tough for Foley to keep up with that spam. Just the nature of full share. Not necessarily fair, but it does lead to longer games, which in a way is good. Unless, of course, you have exams to study for. People regularly blame me, incidentally. Can I just say something? Like, if you're having a problem with your studies and I put out a cast, it's not my fault if you fail your exam. You're perfectly capable of watching the cast after your exam. Can we just state that for a record. It's like people pinning failed education on me. It's like, it's not my fault. I was at university. I remember what it was like not to do any work. Certainly wasn't the fault of the soup. My fault for taking the soup. Lots and lots of battleships, though, emerging for Foley. He needs to keep a good unit mix. He needs to have that destroyer power up front. Destroyers, of course, will give him an advantage against the Exoduses of UD, which make up the large portion of his naval force. He does have a Seraphim contingent as well from UTAG Bar's naval yards, but the vast majority of his force are Aeon, and this is where the Aeons come into their own in terms of naval power. Mass Exodus spam versus the slower, less mobile battleships. Those huge, long, arcing alpha strikes of the Exodus, much more effective against the battleships than they are against units of their own type in opposing races. I think we're witnessing the collapse of Team 2's Navy in this bottom pond. Foley trying to expand out here his naval production, as he will undoubtedly lose these central ones, but I think that's a lost cause. Almost feel like it would be better to try and get a Cybran T3NG over here and start building some megaliths on the beach. Just try and prevent this spam from taking out the base, because quite frankly, I think this is just a matter of time now. Look at those battleships just getting creamed. Oh. Slow down really taking hold now at -2 sim speed as the ASFs of Strogo circle overhead this battle, keeping Empty Spot's forces away. Take a quick check on ASF numbers. 179 there for Strogo. Empty Spot on 182, so he's overtaken Strogo. But he might not have realized that, having been behind for most of the game. Conquest of the main base, which was Suzuki's, now complete. Just the cliffs left to go. In fact, all of the resourcing options at the cliffs are gone. Just mass storage and defensive emplacements left. One T3 here, slowly getting taken apart by long-range missile fire. Kaboom! And then there were just bases left to destroy. Pretty much bases and engineers. Not much else remains down here for Team 2. So they've lost 2 players, but they're pretty much in contention, I'd say, in the air game, and they're about to win the bottom pond. They've lost the top pond, but you would expect that. It would be nice if we had Supreme Scoreboard operating. We could see what, at a quick glance, what the team mass count was at. My maths is not good enough to do it on the fly, whilst ignoring everything else that's going on. A couple of Harbingers there from Steel Panther. I wonder if they're the 2 we saw earlier up at the front. They probably are. Could have marched straight in here and done some real damage. Although, actually, no, they couldn't. Check out all of the Oblivion turrets around that SMD. Strogo's key defensive fortification there. If that SMD goes down, have we got another one in here? No, we don't. That would leave him vulnerable to nuclear attack.
Now, Spectres getting in the mix. One shield down on that lower hub. It's all a question of how much they can take out before they succumb. Want to stay away from those Oblivion turrets if they can. Back to the main naval engagement down here. Cliff edge under assault. A little bit too close. Those destroyers, if they backed up a bit, they could easily finish off that T3 mechs. Empty spot. What's going on here? So he's just kind of throwing up some air defenses. Now that that's online, he hasn't dropped that away. He's still got that microwave laser, so he could go for another hit and run at any time. I apologize in advance if I miss any of that. It's an easy thing to do. Support commanders up here, throwing down a lot of Oblivion turrets, just kind of at the edge of the map. Not sure quite what the reasoning is behind that. Just to protect a mass extractor, which has been destroyed, and he's currently rebuilding. A little bit excessive. SMD online there. Look at that. Hive assistance there, just pumping out support commanders for UD. He's got a lot of mass still. So when he was took over everything, he was up in the 800s. Then it dropped down to about 775. Then it dropped down to about 700. Now he's back up to 772. And that's despite losing the center and the cliffs, which he, of course, he inherited. So still his advancement continues, and as he continues to pump out support commanders at the rate he's doing so, that mass income will continue to escalate. And this is where a few megaliths on the beach really would have come in handy. Trying to force some of this surface fleet away. But as it stands, Foley, oh how the mighty have fallen, just 107 mass per tick now being generated for him. That's about to drop further when that T3 Mex goes, and that T3 P-Gen is just about to go as well. Quite literally a scarecrow's burp away from death. Jerky missile tracking system. Gotta say, all of the early major victories by Empty Spot, not really forging ahead their team. What needs to happen here, it's a bit of a shame that there wasn't a higher Salem contingent for Crispy Ambulance. If he'd stacked his fleet with a lot more destroyers, they could have gone naughty walkie, and they'd already be up here wiping out Strogo's base. But as it happens, he didn't go for that. What he did go for recently is some strategic missile submarines, and they are peppering Strogo's forward position now with long-range cruise missiles or tactical missile defenses going up here. It could do with another shield generally to help contend with this onslaught. You can see those missiles have had some good penetration already at the edge of the shield. more T1 PDs. What is the epic endgame, UD? You tag bar, hoping for some crazy turnaround. That would be impressive. But now we've got support commanders being airlifted across the map now by UD. Where are they going? Are they coming down here for full-on land incursion? Or are they just coming for a reclaim operation in the base? There is a lot of mass, and UD detonates half of his redundant surface fleet there. All of the frigates, which are of now no use whatsoever, just taking up unit count, will be recycled from the seabed. And would you look at the amount of mass that's available for him to nab here. UD on 832 mass now, just climbing all the time. Crispy Ambulance is on 500 though, and he's sitting off his base up here. Hasn't yet expanded anywhere else. But Hallow, Monkey Lord, makes landfall at the beach, but will run headfirst into a GC you can see in the background there belonging to Strogo. So I'm not confident about much progress being made there for him. Has that been spotted by air coverage? He seems to be hanging a right. Could just be coincidence, but it might not matter either way. Large force of Spectres incoming for Strogo, who's ready to run protective detail for them. But while he's caught up with the Monkey Lord, Crispy Ambulance comes in with a whole wave of engineers and starts setting up shop on the beach. In come the T1 bombers. That Monkey Lord already at 75% of its base health. In comes the GC, opens up its massive laser beam from its face, and that Monkey Lord is as good as dead. It's essentially more mass for Team 1. I applaud the sentiment, Crispy Ambulance, but unfortunately nothing was achieved. However, beachhead nearly complete. That GC will surely come and eradicate it. Though, lots and lots of T1 factories, and even the odd T2 as well, on the beach. This wasn't just a reclaim operation, and there go all the destroyers, or half of them. So, mass recycling. He's like, I've got this. I don't need all these here. I just need more mass. He is going full land span now. Foley has dropped back and has set up tons of his own land factories to try and contend. We saw a lot of Zooey spam being sent into the water earlier. That didn't really work, as it never really seems to against a large surface fleet that's already wiped out and taken control of the area from its opponent. And the first nuke of the game, in fact there's 3 of them coming out from that contingent of strategic missile submarines. Where's it going? It's going straight after Strogo's main base. Does that mean he took out the SMD? Well, no, it doesn't. There are 2 loaded, but there are 3 missiles inbound, and unless I've missed a strategic missile defense somewhere else, or unless there's another one in here, Strogo's going to lose his base. And he could lose his comm as well. That ping was pretty close. Has he identified the threat? He needs to get his shiny metal bottom in gear. They're on the way. Strogo, you need to move. 2 missiles shot down. That 3rd one is going to make it through. Strogo has the personal shield. Where was the ping? I can't remember. It looks like it's down here. I think Strogo's going to be okay, but that's more that you can say for his base, which will lie in nuclear ruin. Kaboom! It's a thing of beauty, even if it is a cyber nuke. Strogo remains unscathed, but his mass count and his power count does not. 199 mass now and 3.8 cow production. I didn't get a chance to see where he was at before. Should have taken a quick glance. Apologies there. But I think we can say with a certainty here, at the very least, had more than he has now. Experimental assault bot there for Foley. The chicken being sent to contend with mass further spam that's coming in from all of these T1 factories, of which there are many. UD has thrown up 36 T1 land factories on the beach at Team 2's doorstep there. And we do have a megalith as well now online, heading southeast from Crispy Ambulance to help curtail this mass land spam. This really will be tying up Team 2's base. And I hate to say it, yes, it's gone well up here. Oh my goodness, Strogo's been caught. They took out the base, they took out everything, and of course that allowed Empty Spot to open in. An opening to come in, and Strogo is gone. UD now all by his lonesome. A beautiful little strike there from Empty Spot. We completely forgot, or at least I did, because that's how I roll, of their capability there. Lying in wait as soon as the base was gone, those emplacements were gone. Empty Spot with the comm kill, and now of course gating back. And it's now 4v1, but still 4v1, and that one has 1.1k mass a second flowing into his coffers, and we can judge that now pretty easily. 528 plus 359 plus 129 plus 52. That's not a lot there. It's very, very close in terms of mass generation between the two teams now. Yes, certainly it's 4v1. Yes, UD has the entire map to contend with now, but UD is their top-rated player at 1900. Foley, the top-rated player for Team 2, is still operational at 2100. Of course, he outranks UD, but look at what he's on. He has been completely ousted from his base. He is just trying to stem the tide of mass T1 spam and support commanders that are continuing to expand into his territory. I think they'll manage to curtail this with this mass T1 bomber spam, these experimentals, and mass T1 spam from Foley. I think they will manage potentially to oust UD here, but they're not going to break back into the bottom pond, the bottom ocean, which should leave UD free to try and curtail Crispy Ambulance just a bit. What's he working on down here? Just 37 minutes gone. Yes, we're at -2 sim speed, so a lot longer has actually transpired in cast length. What was that? Was that a support commander? Yes, it was. Can someone please message to the devs from a casting perspective? Can we have a different sound effect for the support commanders going pop? It should be bigger than a normal pop, but less big than a nuke or an ACU going pop, because it's terribly annoying. There must be a sound effect in the library of SOCCOM somewhere that is better utilized for those support commanders. We're about to hear it again. Unnecessary and very distracting. T1 bombers terrorizing the support commanders now. This definitely will be an ousting. It's a full encirclement over here, and aerial bombardment as well. However, look at these missile ships, these torrents. They've wiped out everything here for Steel Panther. Steel Panther still up front at the top. It's pretty muted, really. Not really in the game at all anymore. Needs to find an outlet. UD needs to up his air production as well. Doesn't want to fall behind there. He's got so much to contend with now. He's got to stay on top of his eco building. He's got to get in control and remain in control of the air game. And of course, battle on 3 or 4 fronts simultaneously. One's heading towards him right now, and of course contend with the nuke threat, which is still very much alive and well when you take into account the strategic missile submarines, which are all just sitting off the beach coastline here and could strike at him at any moment. Where are we at on that front? Well, won't be long before at least 3 of them. There goes another support commander. I wish you wouldn't do that. I think I'd be used to it by now. Colossus down. In fact, the Megalith about to go down as well, absorbing all that Exodus fire, sitting still and just taking it. One GC standing still up there, could do with dropping southwest a little bit and cutting off some of these reinforcements which are coming in from Crispy Ambulance, but this is the main concern for him now. He has managed to get another GC online, but will want to hold on to as much of this infrastructure as possible. Foley saying he needs another Megalith online down south. 2 Monkey Lords versus a GC, and lots of bangers as well, so it's not like UD can roll in with a whole bunch of gunships. And this is what the teleportation device should be used for. Nice tactical, strategic, stealthy hits straight in there, empty spot, throwing up a stealth generator, and now building a ton of tactical missile launchers, no doubt looking for the TAC missile snipe. Attack pings going down on the strategic missile defense. I don't think they're going to get there, but they will take out some of the vulnerable T3 quantum reactors. Down goes the first Monkey Lord. GC trains on the second. Down goes the second quantum reactor, and a lot more besides. Collateral damage. Cannot afford to lose that SMD. I don't see another one in here. A nuke would surely end this game here and now. Down go 2 more T3 power plants. That Monkey Lord still online thanks to a rank in veterancy. Oh my goodness, it's going to be close. No, don't attack the Colossus. Kill the SMD. Oh, and he goes for it. He does kill the SMD in the last second of life. Retrains that massive microwave laser. Does he have a nuke ready to fire? He has 1. He has 2. There goes nukes, but from where? Well, he comes from the other submarine down here. You have a whole bunch of subs up here. You have 2 more loaded, ready to go. Surely you should be going. There must be another. Tell me, UD, you have another SMD. He does. He has another SMD, and he's got 1 loaded. That missile will be shot down, but he has 2 more. 2 more nukes ready to go. Fire the missiles. Another nukes are out to be ready as well. He has 2 more SMDs. Down that missile goes. Where's the other one? I have to see. I have to learn what's at stake. He has loads of SMDs. What am I going on about? He has 4 SMDs. UD completely prepared for nuclear assault. Is covered. 1 there. 1 there. 1 missile in each. 1 down there as well. How far does that reach? Well, it covers just about everything sensitive, so those nukes would not have done any good. I got all excited for nothing. It's not the first time it's happened. How are the TAC missiles? Quick change of subject. How are the TAC missiles getting on up here? An empty spot. The zit, the empty zit that is Cybran. Well, just ready to go. Just constructing TAC missiles. He wants to be careful. He could jump back now with the commander and get that out of harm's way. Not a great place to be sitting if you don't have to. How's he doing on power? He lost a lot of power plants. Well, look at the state of his power. So they might not have managed the killing blow, but goodness me, Crispy Ambulance, if you didn't wreck his power production. I mean, he's still on 51k, but he's still just having trouble keeping his head above water. while he tries to rebuild those quantum reactors. Lots and lots of stuff going on back down here. So UD was pretty much ousted, I think it's fair to say, but he can't get past the beach. He can't get into it just because of the sheer volume of projectiles and missiles that are coming inland. And those torrents, look at the reach on them. The torrents are pretty safe, and that's pretty astonishing. Such a wonderful unit if you can keep it alive. So much Aeon love I have for that vessel. People don't know. They're like, they know me as a fan of the UEF, but Aeon very much a surrogate favorite in a way. That's completely not the right word, but you know, an alternate favorite. It's just like the same, just not as much favorite. To quote Brian Regan. Such a wonderful piece of kit, even if it is in purple today. Sim speed still at -2. 41 minutes game time gone. I shudder to think where we're at in actual cast time, but actually it doesn't feel like we've been going for that long. I think that's just the sheer amount of stuff that's gone on in this Setons so far. The action has been pretty consistent throughout. Monkey Lord advancing from Crispy Ambulance. Don't land your gunships there, that's a terrible place to sit. Having a picnic at the lake at arguably the worst time in history, when a giant spider with a laser on top is standing there, and he only decides to kill one of them. Interesting decision. Switches up, I guess, to go for the bigger threat, the engineers. But he won't be directing that laser. That will all be automatic targeting. Still, the T1 bombers continue to attack. Much more effective late game than they used to be before recent patches. And look at the inroads Crispy Ambulance is actually making. An empty spot now up here. Oh, the TAC missiles didn't work. That was spotted and killed off. Alas, we missed it. Not sure what that was taken out with. I'm guessing that was probably these gunships that are nearby, which have now locked onto that Monkey Lord. Haven't seen a lot from Steel Panther of late, but he's getting some ASFs in on the defense of that Monkey Lord, trying to kill off those Spectres. And in comes Empty Spot as well. Bye-bye gunships. That Monkey Lord will remain with 27,000 HP on board. Empty Spot wiping out the engineers up here, formerly belonging to Strogo. Lots of build capacity, and even the quantum reactor as well. That will be the official end of that rearguard air position for Team 1. 3 GCs heading north, however, from down here. This is now very dangerous territory for UD. Does he expand? Does he consolidate? So difficult to know what the best course of action is. He is still holding things at bay down here. He finds it hard to expand. We saw what happened last time he tried. Does he try and make inroads there? Does he try and oust Crispy Ambulance and Empty Spot from friendly territory, what was friendly territory, up on this side of the map? Key decision making plays now here for UD. Key decision making time. And this would be an area I would be very bad at in game, but UD is just buying time, because what's that? That would be a Paragon. UD going for infinite resources here He was at 1.1k with the demise of Strogo. That's now dropped to 895. But that's what he's been doing. That's what he's been doing while he's been spamming everything down here. While he's been contending with stuff down here. He's been building a freaking Paragon. And that sucker's nearly done, or nearly at 75% complete anyway. That's about to turn green in the hit point section. Goodness me. And he's got reasonable protection around it as well. SMD up around it, lots of T1 and T2 PD, tactical missile defense, 2-3 shield generators in the area. Team 2 will have to take care of that. Another support commander goes pop somewhere. I hope I didn't miss anything. I'm just scrolling through the chat history here to see if there's any recognition of that Paragon from Team 2. Might have scrolled past it. I usually do with these things, as it's often pointed out, but I didn't see anything there. So that could be undetected, and that could be a major oversight from Team 2. However, let's track this nuke, which is now heading eastwards. It actually looks like it's going for the side island here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 mexes on those side islands, potentially vulnerable. Is there an SMD over here that he's missed? I don't think so. So if that's going for that island and no Navy in between, I can't see what it'd be dropping in anywhere in here. That'd be a bit of a waste of a nuke. But everything's gone pretty quick. Actually, no, you just have to zoom in a bit. It was like, oh, they're just hanging out. Oh no, lots of missiles. But still, no more major incursion. Megaliths and Ithota not wanting to drift too close to the beach and get in range of those missiles, and by the same extension, the purple land forces reluctant to head too far west for running into those experimentals. In comes the nuke, and interesting, look at that, all of those mass extractors control Cade and are being recycled by UD. That is just unbelievably, I'm geeking out about that, because I would never think, I would look at that nuke and go, oh no, I'm about to lose it all, and just lament what would have been a perfect nuke. Look at that epicenter. It would have taken, it took out everything on the island. There's not a single purple thing left on that island. Everything is dead, and that would have been the mass extractors too. But UD basically got all of the mass from the wrecks of those T3 mass extractors. I don't have those figures to hand, but that's quite a lot of reclaim right there. And the Paragon is online. He got the Paragon online, and he now has infinite resources and is pulling 2.2k, 4.3k mass out of it at current expenditure. That is catastrophic for Team 2's chances in this game now. Yes, they've taken all of the land pretty much except UD's starting position, but how do they contend with the presence of a Paragon? Well, that would be a good start. If they can get that online, a Scathis up here at Empty Spot's new position. He's got a stealth gen online, is building some hives to help production of that, but that's got a long ways to go, and UD can just start pumping out Colossus now like it's going out of fashion. He's spamming up strategic missile defense, wants to get a impenetrable nuclear shield online. Actually kind of terrified for Team 2 right now that he's been allowed to get that online. That's a scouting fail. There should have been a mass strategic bomber effort from Team 2 to get in and snipe that and prevent UD from getting that online. That would have been entirely possible. There should have been a concerted aerial effort of Cybran bombers switch on their stealth and bring them in here from the northwest. There's no way he could have stopped it, and that thing would not be allowed to get online. If they'd allowed it to complete enough, that would have been a nuke in the base. It is, of course, still in a nuke, and they could go for it now. But the longer they leave this, and I'm not seeing any snipe attempt on the cards, unless I've missed a load of strap bombers stacking up somewhere. It all seems to be about ground incursion. You guys seem to be missing the big threat right now, and I'm concerned for your safety. Empty Spot spamming up the Scathis as quickly as he can, trying to get as much build capacity into this area as possible. 430k mass for him. He had a little bit in the tank, which he's using up. Scathis rolling towards 25% complete. That will be a problem for Udi. He will want to take that out as well. Needs to be more scouting going on from both parties. I think I can forgive Udi a little bit for his lack of scouting of this area. More so than I can forgive Team 2 for that miss of that Paragon. Steel Panther, I have 20 restorers. Udi, I have 1,000 GCs. Well, he doesn't, but this game goes on much longer. He certainly will do. And he has a Tsar online already. Oh, look at the mass aircraft carrier production as well. Crazy outspammage in the air. He's going to have air control. They need to snipe this para, and soon. And Udi needs to take care of this, and soon. There's no reason why he can't get involved and take that out with the amount of build power he has available to him now. Needs to get some good scouting going on. More shields going up around the Paragon. That's a very good idea indeed. Paragon in a particularly sensitive place. Almost wonder if it wouldn't have been better to try and build it out down here, so that if and when it does inevitably go, it's not going to take half the base with it. GC's rolling north and unprotected currently against Restorer spam from Steel Panther. Could start production of some flak en masse. Hasn't, I mean, he can see a single land factory in there right now, but it wouldn't take him long to do it. The problem is, when you're contending with war on so many different fronts, and it's 4v1, it gets very, very difficult to split up your APM and focus, make these decisions on every little thing. You really are maxed out on what you can achieve. Sim speed at -3 now as these ASF circle overhead. Let's take a quick ASF check. 195 on the field for empty spot. Udi at 244. He should get in and wipe those out, because he will surely outspam now with all of the aircraft carriers he's got, and they're not currently building anything. Why are they not building anything? That is a missed opportunity. He has massive, he'll have about 4 and a bit K unit cap available to him. At least he should do. I'm sure they upped it. The UI not registering it. Yeah, there it is. What am I talking about? Way more. 12,000, 12k unit cap. Talking out of my behind. They upped it massively. So there's no reason for him not to embark on mass ASF spam from all of those aircraft carriers. That's surely the purpose of their construction. It's not all going to be about anti-air capabilities. Their anti-air, of course, now awesome on the aircraft carriers. That was buffed in a patch some time ago. That Colossus going to go down. 2 remaining there, but I mean, those restorers have killed 1 Colossus, and UD has built about 4 or 5 since then. Oh, tentative air engagements. No one wanting to commit as yet. Ah, UD, you would win. You would win an air engagement, and you could take out of the restorers, and then you could go in and kill this Scathis, which is very nearly done, and that is in prime position to take out that Paragon. Yes, of course, it doesn't have the same range it used to, but it's in range of just about everything of importance in that base, including the Paragon. He needs to kill that, but probably doesn't know he needs to kill that. He hasn't had anything up there really aerial wise. And now some of the GCs he's been building in the water over here with air-dropped engineers are pushing inland. This is a whole new problem for Team 2. There go the nukes, though. The subs that have been stationed off the coast over here, and they have several nukes on board. And Crispy Ambulance comes in with the tele-snipe on a support commander and risks getting himself killed from the bank of Oblivion turrets over here. That must have been going after an SMD, but he's got so many SMDs in here, none of these which are loaded. Oh my word, are these nukes going to get through? I'll be so disappointed if they do. Another nuke out. Scathis online with a ton of disruptors in production. Away go the anti-nukes. We saw him building lots of SMDs earlier. Did he build enough? There's the nuke ping right in the center of the base. 2 nukes left on that first volley. 1 remain. More nukes are out and en route. Scathis fire about to rain down. Oh, I fear for your safety greatly. So many nukes, but now we've got a counter nuke out from the missile submarines over there, and that's going straight over here to take care of that little nuke fleet. Crispy Ambulance gets himself killed by a Tsar of all things. He knew it was on the cards. One, 2, 3 nukes down. Another nuke inbound. Counter nuke in as well. But the Paragon is vulnerable. Oh no! Scathis shells raining down. UD, what did you do? Boom, baby. 48 minutes gone, and so is the Paragon. The nuke sub-fleet over here wiped out, all except for 1, which is badly damaged. Oh, man. But has UD constructed enough Colossus to finish the job down here? Well, you know it's bad when you're using nukes as close fire support. Foley launching one of Crispy Ambulance's base nukes. In fact, those nukes under empty spots control. He's obviously got more eco to spare to keep those building. Nice split from UD, trying to minimize the impact of this nuke. It's not going to kill any of these Colossus anyway. They are pretty much healthy. Well, there's one here, but I think he's out of range. That nuke connects. UD, who has been in a very strong position despite being 4v1, getting whittled down here, needs to keep these Colossus on the move. That Scathis needs to die. Down go 2 of the 4 SMDs in the center of the base. That Scathis from Empty Spot doing phenomenal work. He's about to have a disruptor up there soon as well. Lots of support commanders for Empty Spot being brought forward to try and kill off some of these GCs. GCs taking quite a long time to chew through each one, despite the fact that there are 3 of them. But there are still 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 GCs online and heading north towards Crispy Ambulance's old base. And there are 2 GCs which are heading north towards Empty Spot. He wants to be thinking about hightailing it out of there. Must be aware of the danger. Yes, he is. He can even tell that they're experimentals. Either that or he's entirely focused on base defense. Either that or he's gone AFK. One of the 3. But whatever one it is, it's not going to change the outcome unless he teleports himself back to friendly territory ASAP. But I'm not sure if anything can be anything can be defined as friendly territory now, as Foley gets picked off in the pond. There's just so many Colossus everywhere. They didn't kill off the Paragon quick enough, and this might now just be a case of capitulation. Empty Spot rolls forward with his comm. I can't believe they lost this. All they had to do was build some strap bombers, scout early. I guess they missed the Paragon. That must have been the case. But Empty Spot goes down, leaving just Steel Panther to pick up the pieces. Steel Panther, who's been sat up front in his firebase, not doing a great deal since the demise of his opponent here on the causeway. It has to be said. 1500 rated player. Well, he's got much more income than UD now that he's lost the Paragon. His restorers are tidying up what's left of the main base. But what do you do when there's this many Colossus running riot all over the map? How many are online right now? 23 Colossus dotted around the map, and that would have been much worse a moment ago. A lot of them have been picked off. That latest nuke out from UD. Where is it going? Well, it's going up here to help tidy things up in Suzuki's original base.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke out. Where's that going? I don't know. Doesn't he need to send them off at the starting locations down here? He's got this completely contained. We fire it at the center. I'm not even sure if there's an SMD protecting Steel Panther's comm. Doesn't look like it at a quick glance, but no, more concerned about tidying up everything over here. The amount of stuff, the amount of nukes and experimentals and missile ships, ships of every description that have been produced in this game. It's had everything you could have wanted. This game lulls, definitely lulls. It might have been 4v1, but it never really felt like a comeback. UD was always in such a strong position, and when he was able to get that Paragon online, that was the end of it. Steel Panther now, he was in the 800s a while ago, now down to 240, power locked badly. And it's surely just a tidying up operation now.
Strategic launch detected.
Another nuke out from UD, and it's going straight after Steel Panther's comm. And if you were gonna give a prize for the most perfectly led nuke on a target, I think this might be it. Steel Panther heading in that direction. That nuke just about to miss a bullseye, but surely enough to take him out. Boom, baby! What a thing of beauty. Steel Panther down, Team 2 down, and I've got to say, 110,000 points of respect for UD pulling out the victory there. 52 3/4 minutes, but a lot longer in cast length, I am sure. Very, very entertaining stuff, though. As I say, it was a comeback, but it didn't feel like a comeback. And now that it's over, I can actually reveal that I was slightly disappointed. It's awesome that UD pulled out the win there, but I was slightly disappointed because I've had so many people now say, Kyle, you only ever cast comebacks. Like, and I know I don't only ever cast comebacks. That's not true, but a vast proportion. I guess there are a lot of comebacks out there. It's because they often end up to be entertaining, but it does mean that people have been able to predict the outcome. And I actually didn't see UD winning this, if I'm honest, on the quick +10 run through I did. So I thought, yeah, this is a dead cert. This is a dead cert cast. I'm loving the amount of stuff. It's very unusual the way this game's and then UD took command and started to win. I'm like, I can't believe it. It's another comeback. People are gonna whine. Why couldn't UD just die and then given me some content variation? But alas, no, it is another comeback, guys. But come on, give that game the props it deserves. Yes, Team 2 made a mistake. They didn't spot and thus snipe the Paragon. You could say, yeah, of course, UD made a mistake. He didn't spot and snipe the Scathis, but the game was already over by then. Marvellous play. I hope you enjoyed it. I certainly did. As always, more to come from me in the future. Don't forget, guys, if you feel so inclined, you can support me on Patreon. Every single donation helps me and, by extension, the channel and the community. So thank you in advance for any assistance you can grant me. But until next time, guys, stay well and stay safe. This is Guile, signing out.